right. Well, welcome everybody to another edition of the Southwestern Career Connections podcast. We're so glad everybody could be here today. My name is Tyler Good. I'm the Director of Public Relations at Southwestern Community College. My co-host is Mike Despo. He is our Director of Career Services. Hi, Mike.
Hey, Tyler. Glad to be back.
Glad you could join us today. We started this podcast 100% just to try and give people hope. This was Mike's idea. Mike had a great idea a couple months ago. He said, Tyler, there's a lot of people out there hurting. They've lost their jobs, and we want to provide them some hope in their lives. If they've lost a job, give them some ideas. What can they do? What's the next chapter in their life? And that's what this podcast is all about. And today's episode, maybe more than any other, is talking about how many doors there are out there waiting to be opened. There's almost an unlimited number of possibilities when you consider our college transfer option. So really excited about our guests we have today. We have Dr. Barbara Putman, who is our Dean of Arts and Sciences at SCC. Hi, Dr. Putman, how are you?
Hi there, thanks for the invitation.
Glad you could be here. We also have one of our prized graduates, one of my favorite stories from SCC and over the years here. It's Trevor Gates. You'll have a hard time finding anybody who doesn't just think the world of this guy. Trevor, thanks for being here today.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Glad you're here, Trevor. So today's episode is, like I said, we're going to be talking about college transfer. And what I mean when there's unlimited doors that you can open here, when you come to Southwestern, there's really never been a better time to get started at Southwestern as opposed to at a four-year university. Even if you're planning to get a bachelor's degree, there's so many advantages. Universities, unfortunately, this fall just cannot offer that traditional university experience, but you are going to get, in almost every case, the same credit that transfers to a university right here at SCC, save a lot of money. And we've been doing this a long time. A lot of people are having to go online and scramble and figure out how do we do distance learning. And at Southwestern Community College, we've been perfecting distance learning for more than 20 years. I have visual evidence of online classes 20 years or more. Last week, we talked to Scott Klein, who did his first online class. He's one of our instructors in IT, did his first online class in 2001. All that is to say, we're excited to talk to you a little bit about what we have ready for this fall. And Mike, would you agree with me on this whole topic of that once you start at SCC, there's almost unlimited opportunity out there for career fields?
Oh my gosh, yes. And we've got so many just wonderful applied fields that we've talked about in just about every episode of this video cast and podcast, Southwestern Career Connection. But what the real expander is our college transfer programs, because really, if you think about it, the sky is the limit with what you can do with that, because there are so many four-year degrees out there and graduate degrees following those, and we prepare students to enter those. And Tyler, I've got a unique perspective on that also. I worked down the road at our regional comprehensive university, Western Carolina, for some years. And I worked with all kinds of students. Some were looking for highly selective internships. Others were trying to leverage their degree into jobs. I was helping students with resumes and letters of applications, just like we do at SCC. But there was one thing that really the best and the brightest students that I saw at WCU had in common. And get ready, Barb, because this is a big compliment to you and your faculty and some of our other applied programs with articulation agreements that Trevor's going to talk about. But the thing they had in common was an SCC college transfer degree. They came from SCC. They hit the ground running. They excelled. They really showed a lot of academic maturity and preparation, and they knew what they wanted from their classes, and they were really ready to, make A's and get great internships and ultimately enter graduate school or just terrific jobs. And I think that SCC's what gave them the foundation to do that. And now since 2015, I've been here and I've seen it for myself. I've seen the magic. I've seen students like Trevor. And so, I just can't speak as a career development professional what an advantage we give students. Why don't we learn a lot about that from our guests?
Yes. Well, before we get too deep into the college transfer, I just thought it might be fun for our listeners to hear a little bit of background. Dr. Putman, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background here at SCC, how many years you've been here, and what you do these days for Southwestern.
Sure, thank you. So I've been with Southwestern for 20 wonderful years. It is the greatest of community colleges in our wonderful system. And my background is in curriculum and instruction and English education, teaching English and teaching people how to teach English. And so that's what I do here is lead the Arts and Sciences division, the transfer division of the college, support the faculty as they support students. And then I continue to teach myself. So each fall and spring, I teach education courses to help students get off to a good start with their teacher preparation. So that's a great thing about community colleges. Most of us in administrative positions like mine continue to teach so that we keep connected to the classroom and to our students.
Excellent. Thank you. And Trevor, thanks again for being here today. It's great to see you again. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your experience at SCC and what you're doing these days.
Yeah, so these days I am on my last year of my undergrad. I should be graduating with my bachelor's in psychology next May. And I should ask, sorry to pause, but can y'all hear me okay? Because my connection is iffy.
Super clear. You're good.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Just making sure that before I went too far. But yeah, I'm almost done with my undergraduate. I've been traveling around the country, been fortunate enough to be able to speak on a few topics in a couple of different places and really trying to make an impact on campus while I'm still here.
I know we don't have a visual right at this moment of you, but could you get your camera back on? I'd like for people to be able to see the eyewear, the eyeglasses you've got. You talked about going around the country. Would you just briefly tell your story kind of about that eye gear? I remember when you were here and you got that. So go ahead.
Yeah, actually, and I have an update about these as well. These are called Eastsight. They're electronic glasses made for the legally blind, or visually impaired, to give us our sight back. For me, I'm lucky enough that they work tremendously and restore my vision fully. They were absolutely life-changing, and that's helping me would help me get the word out and reach more people. And I was able to last year I was able to raise money for these glasses within a month and a half, and that was almost $6,000. It was $5,400 or $900, something like that. And because of Southwestern's help, it went by like that. And yeah, they have been absolutely life-changing. I've been able to really just up my level as a student and just excel because these give me back my ability to be right on the level of every other student and give me the ability to excel above that if I'm able to do so. And my update about them is I'm actually right now for an upgrade for these are the third generation with this wire, which is going to be a massive life improvement, and the new ones are actually going to be a lot more comfortable to wear. There's so many new features and improvements to them, and I'm on my journey to try to get that upgrade that I've been dreaming about, because this wire is hard to live with, but even with a wonderful device like this, but the new device gets rid of that, and they're just going to be so much better.
That is awesome. One reason I wanted you to tell that story is just I feel like you kind of epitomize what SCC does for a lot of people. We help people see the world in a whole new way, but for you, it's literal vision, which I'm very happy for you about. And we'll talk a little more about your story here in a few moments. But Dr. Putman, I wanted to ask you, considering everything that has gone on in the world in the last 6 months, what are some of the main reasons that you see that people should get college credit this fall here at Southwestern?
Well, I think that it might sound cliche, but education really is one of those things that no one can ever take away from you. So our students, whatever education they come to us with, whether it's high school or other college education, transfer credit that they might be bringing to us, then we pick up where they left off and help them take some more steps toward their long-term goal. So in our program, that's toward a bachelor's degree, and then many of them have goals beyond that, master's and professional degrees. And so we can just start wherever they are and help them take some more steps and achieve something along the way. Like an associate in arts or associate in science or associate in fine arts degree. And I think education, it really gives you hope. So, if you finish one class, you've taken a step toward that goal. If you finish a degree, you've taken a huge leap that will then set you off to a smoother transition into the university when you're ready to do that. I think in North Carolina, sometimes we forget, or people might not know, that we're really blessed with our connection between our community colleges and universities. A lot of states still don't have the connection that we have, the articulation of credits that we have, and our degrees that transfer so smoothly. North Carolina was a leader in this over 20, 25 years ago, and a lot of states still don't have that. So we get students moving here from other places. I'm glad to take advantage of that because the English and the science and math and social sciences and a lot of the elective classes that you take here at SEC will transfer right to that university and help you reach those goals.
Thank you, Mike. Speaking of what Dr. Putman was just talking about, being able to transfer with a degree or any credit at all, I wanted you to talk, if you don't mind, just a little bit about your relationship with Trevor, and I know he came through our human services track, which is, one way you can do this. So if you could talk a little about his unique movement there, and then also I'll let you introduce him since you know him so well, and talk a little bit more about his track. You're still muted there, Mr. Mike. Sorry.
There I go. Yes, Trevor, I'm going to talk about you. So if I get anything wrong, correct me.
Okay.
So many of our students enter Western and other four-year schools straight out of our college transfer division here, and that's what it's designed for. But we also have a number of applied programs with special college transfer agreements. And we talked with Lori Clancy not too long ago about human services, and that's Trevor's background. We outdoor leadership. We spoke with Paul about that some time ago, and it transfers to Parks and Rec, and then we've got several others as well. But Trevor's pathway, he came to us like so many aspiring helping professionals and enter the human services degree. And Jody Waldrop and myself, we met him pretty soon because he's a fellow who likes to take advantage of his resources, which we hope all students will. But had the great pleasure of seeing Trevor learn and develop and gain experiences. And when you're working with somebody's resume every semester or so, and I still, Trevor, we worked last week together on that, didn't we?
We did.
You there? Yeah. So we, it's what's really fun is these are these relationships. People come back, but when you look at somebody's resume, you really see a bird's eye view of what they're doing. And Trevor just had this trajectory where he began speaking publicly and became an individual or independent learner and a member of professional associations, and he was professionally curious and carried that forward over to Western and entered a corresponding degree program, social work, and changed that to, I think, psychology, Trevor, with a eye towards graduate school. Yeah, and it's just this steady uphill trajectory. It's exciting to see Trevor just gain these skills that he can market on his resume, and obviously they've opened doors for him already. And Trevor, what you're doing is very impressive. You make us proud.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
What are some ways, Trevor, that you received support while you were at SCC, and how vital was that support in helping you get to where you are today?
Oh my gosh, so vital. SEC, and I've told this story many times. SEC was where I was able to turn myself into the student I always knew I could be. I came in from high school not with a very strong foundation in what I needed to be successful, and SEC helped me rebuild that foundation, and then gave me the support that allowed me just to take off in my in my journey towards my dreams and my academics, from tutors to the accommodations that I was able to receive that helped me to be on the same level as everyone else, regardless of my visual impairment. Just so much. If there was an obstacle in my way, SEC was there to help me remove it. And it didn't matter what the issue was, whether it was I couldn't use traditional textbooks. They found alternatives. If those alternatives weren't readily available, they found another way to get them. There was always something popping up, but SEC was always there to help me get around that. And yeah, if it wasn't for the support I got early on, yeah, I don't think I'd be this far.
You've inspired a lot of people while you've been here at SCC, and yours is just one of the pathways that we can prepare people for, like we've been talking about. And Dr. Putman, you mentioned your own background in education, and we have a new pathway for people who want to go into that field. Can you talk a little bit about that new development?
Absolutely. Our state is trying to increase what they call the teacher pipeline. So that is people who get a fire for teaching, who want to teach public school, and we want to help them connect with that career and that major preparation as soon as possible, including even when they're in high school, if they qualify for our Career and College Promise program, and then continue on here as adult students with their AA or AS degrees in teacher preparation, and then transfer to the university into a college of ed. And so this would be all kinds of teacher preparation for birth to kindergarten teachers, elementary ed, middle grades ed, high school, special subjects, all kinds of long-term goals that people have as far as being public school and pre-K teachers in public settings. And so we have 2 new degrees and pathways that help them get right on that as soon as they get with us, and deepen their understanding of the education profession, hopefully continue to stoke that passion that they have, give them some real experience in real classrooms, at least aside from COVID times, and help them so that they can be successful when they get to the university in teacher education, because our state needs more teachers, needs great teachers, people with a passion for teaching who will stay in the profession and expand public education for our whole state.
Very good, very good. Trevor, talk to us because, Dr. Putman mentioned that the college transfer this is for teaching, but for your own self, you did something a little different by studying in an applied area that has a special transfer agreement for human services. What were the advantages of that for you?
Yes. So I went through the human services and substance use treatment degree programs, and for those, that's applied programs that usually transfer directly into the social work program. But for me, I chose to go a different route because of my own career goals, and also what I'm able to do with my visual impairment. A lot of the careers that you can have at a bachelor's level of social work really didn't suit me the best because of my visual impairment and my transportation issues, getting back and forth to many places like wonderful social workers have to do usually at that level. Didn't seem like the career path for me. My ultimate goal is to be a therapist, and so I decided to take my time in SEC and use it to advance myself ahead in my psychology degree. I just actually this past couple weeks got all my classes from SEC, from the Human Services program, approved as what's called my approved program, which is basically the psychology program at Western created a minor for me. So now those classes are now my minor, considered my minor study, so I can so I don't have to pick another minor and have more classes to take while I'm at Western in my undergrad. So it zoomed me ahead in my psychology degree, and I chose psychology after the human services degree because I felt like it will strengthen my knowledge and my skills as a therapist, and my time at in the human services program, learning those skills, those entry level skills of a social worker, are going to help make me a very well-rounded therapist, where I'm not just focused on treating or providing therapy, but I'm also focused on the whole person. So not just treating someone for depression, but also finding them resources for housing that's worsening their depression. And that's what I think that the human service program did for me, as it gave me perspective whole and not just a diagnosis. So if you provide services for all the issues that are causing their mental health struggles, you'll be able to treat them a lot better.
Excellent. I like that holistic approach you're talking about, start to finish. Well, really appreciate again all of you for being here today, our guests. And before we close out, I want to give each one of you an opportunity. If there's anything we didn't get to cover or something else you want to mention, please feel free. Just take a few seconds here and we'll start with you, Trevor. Any closing thoughts?
I would say, yeah, my closing thoughts would be, if you are wondering where to start your journey, and especially with the COVID world changes that we now face, don't write off community college first to get ahead in your journey, because you can go to SEC and get your undergrad out of the way, and by the time getting those classes out of the way first, and at a community college that really cares and really supports you, is just priceless. You'll look back and go, I'm really glad I was here.
We were glad you were here as well, and thanks for being here
Absolutely.
this morning for this recording. Also, Dr. Putman, any closing thoughts?
Sure. And today we focused on education and social work and psychology and things, but just want to reiterate for the listeners that we can really help you get started and make progress toward any goal that you have. So we have students here who are pre-vet and pre-pharmacy and pre-law and pre-anything, any career you can think of. We can help people take steps toward that. So these are really important professions that we've talked about today. And then really, as you back to the beginning where you said the sky's the limit, we can help you toward any future goal.
Thank you for reinforcing that point. That's something I really wanted to make sure we got out today. I know we got to talking about a couple of specific career fields, but we could literally talk about any career field out there, because that's where you can go from here. Mike Despo, your closing thoughts, sir.
Absolutely. I'd be remiss if I didn't point out another success story that we have right here in the room with us. Lurking behind the curtain is really in helping produce this show, sort of a recording engineer, I'd say. We have Jody Waldrop, who is our career counselor in career services at SCC. And I didn't get to watch Jody's whole pathway like I did Trevor's, but I certainly get to work with her. I'm lucky to work with her now, but I believe that she is a college transfer graduate from SCC and then went on to Western, and like Trevor, majored in psychology, and then went to my alma mater for graduate school, University of South Carolina, and graduated with a master's degree in the right area, and then worked as a professional academic advisor at a university in Georgia. We were lucky to bring her on board in 2017. And Jody, not to speak for you, because I know that you should have probably hosted this show with that background. I have heard Jody tell her story to new students in ACA, and it's very inspiring. And say hello, Jody. I know you're listening.
Hello.
I didn't tell her I was going to put her on the spot. Jody does tell an inspiring story, and that segues to anybody interested in these pathways is welcome to contact her or contact me. That is, come to Career Services at SCC. You can easily find how to reach us on our website, and either of us are glad to walk you through all of the different options. And like Trevor said, he figured out his career goals and how we could help him achieve those. And Jody and I have tools to help people do that. We can provide career assessments, and you can use our Career Coach software to see how our different degrees map to different professions and careers, some of which are majors at Western also, and jump with both feet into one of these college transfer directions. We can help you get where you want to go.
I know everybody listening can hear in your voice, Mike, and I know Jody as well, the excitement you both feel in anytime you're able to help somebody. I mean, you get involved like to the point that you want these people to succeed, and you celebrate with them the ups and you help them figure out where they need to go. And I hope the people listening get that from the minute you arrive at SCC, you're surrounded by people like Mike and Jody and Dr. Putman, who are here to help you reach whatever your goals may be. And before we close, I am the PR guy at SCC, and I have to remind you, you have less than 2 weeks now until the start of our fall semester. And we want you to sign up today, enroll, no matter what your career goals are, no matter where you're at in your educational journey, we can help. And this is a great fall. It's not a good fall to take a gap year because so much of the country is limited in what you can do. Come to SCC, get started on that career, save yourself and your family that money, get the college transfer credit you need to go to a university a year, 2 years from now. But our fall classes do start on August the 17th, and you can visit our website. Just Google us, Southwestern Community College in North Carolina. It's southwesterncc.edu. And or you can just give us a call at 339-4000. That's area code 828-339-4000, or just stop by your nearest SCC location. Thanks again to all of our guests. Really enjoyed talking to all of you, getting to catch up with you a little bit, Trevor. Thanks to everyone for being here. And if you enjoyed this conversation today, I encourage folks to check us out on Spotify or whatever social media provider you found us on today. and check out the past episodes, because all that information is relevant as you're making your future decisions today. Thanks again for being here, and I hope everybody has a great week.